this? Danny that? Danny, can you buy me this? Danny, can you do this? Danny, can you sell me? This is Danny.
This is Pike.
And this is Dual Vibes. Wait, what episode is it? Is it 6 or
7?
Is it 7? Is it 6 or 7?
No, it's 7. It's 7. It's 7.
Is it 6 or 7?
7.
It's 7? Okay.
Yeah, last week was 6.
Anyways, guys, welcome back to the Dual Vibes Podcast, Season 2, Episode number 7. We're not doing the Spanish this season. And this episode... What was that?
Didn't see that one coming.
Anyways, this episode really ties into what I do on a day-to-day basis. And this is like my career. You could say it's my future career, but it's actually my career right now. And it's what I'm aiming towards. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Pike's going to put his input in, too, because...
Yeah, I sell houses all the time.
But we've done a deal, so
on
that's...
like Minecraft.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a business on Minecraft.
Do you have a server?
Yeah.
You know, actually, like...
Pike's Realty, look it up. It's on Minecraft.
That's a dope server. I've been on it. Yeah. What's funny is I actually hacked into my dad's internet back when I was living at home when I was 16 and opened up my own server through a command prompt on my computer. No one joined, but...
It's still out there probably, though, right?
No.
Servers don't crash. They get shut down?
Well, it depends on your IP address, your proxy, your firewall, all that shit. And I would have to open up the command prompt, and then when I closed it, it would shut off the server.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have it running 24/7.
I got you.
That's kind of nerdy that
no
I just said
one
that.
joined it? Sorry.
No. But
anyway,
this episode is going to be a little tricky because I'm going to have to tie in, because I'm a funny guy, right? I'm going to have to tie in all the funny stuff along with the business aspect of this. And that's why I'm wearing my hat frontwards and not backwards, because I'm trying to, put on a more professional look. And the 2 years that I've been doing this, Mike, I think you can kind of vouch for me here. I've gotten really, really smart with real estate. And I've been...
He has. I've seen it. Yeah. So basically, I'm here for just keeping the seat warm, but also I'm going to ask questions that like the everyday person doesn't know about realty.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. That's a good idea, right? A little Q&A at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really good. Yeah. Whenever you want to, ask a question as an outside viewer, I'm here to answer it. And this is definitely bringing some value because... I can't say it yet.
There's a lot. No, it brings value to a podcast regardless because a lot of people want to do that. You hear all about realty and all these multi-million-dollar, people like they make millions of dollars for selling houses and they don't know how to get started. So you can break that down.
How does every millionaire become a millionaire? Real estate, correct?
Yeah.
Not by selling real estate, but by owning real estate.
Yeah.
We both know that. We've had plenty of conversations about this. And actually, I got my laptop here. But in one of my notepads, I have a duplex that I was thinking about asking Pike to buy, but the numbers just aren't adding up right now, so probably not going to do that. But, why did Danny get into real estate? And that is probably because back in the day, I used to be called the talker, the smoocher, he can get whatever he wants. Them days are over, but, the Rizzler no Twizzler hasn't left me at all.
Okay.
I'm taking this hat off. It's getting a little hot in here.
It didn't last long at all.
Yeah, it's getting a little hot in here, guys. Hair look good? Does the hair look good?
Yeah, solid.
Does it actually?
Yeah.
Viewers, does it look good? Oh, wait. I don't know what you guys are saying. All right. So as you guys can tell, today's podcast is going to be about real estate. And it's going to be about should you buy a home in 2026? I'm not really going to talk about the renting side. I'll touch on that in the beginning. And Pike can touch on his opinion about renting versus owning. And obviously, he can budget whenever he wants because Pike isn't a dumb guy.
I bought 2 houses.
Yeah, he's a
Sold
smart
the
guy.
first one,
Yeah, he didn't go through me, but I gave him a good reference. And you made a lot of money.
You weren't a realtor yet?
I was not because I couldn't pass my test.
But I did use his mentor.
Yep, use my mentor. So, Chris Marsick. We'll start off by the quote of the day. Real estate rewards preparation, not pressure. And this can go far in life with just anything because, without the preparation, the success isn't going to come, right? So you have to prepare for a lot of stuff in your life, especially when you're getting to that age where you're going to become an adult, and you can't focus on the pressure of it. You got to focus on the preparation and executing that plan. What does that do for the team?
Everything, if you understand it.
I'm saying that once a podcast, by the way.
It's everything.
So what does that do for the team?
Everything. Everything, man.
So I kind of got this broken down into a 7-step flow chart and I'm just going to kind of read my own thing, but I'll explain a subtopic as I do it. But Pike, what is your stance on renting versus owning a home?
I'll go with owning always. Obviously, I've rented twice, and both times it was just giving money to something that I wasn't going to own. It's just to stay, and it would have been the same price just to actually just put forth that down payment and just buy something so I could sell it and make money off it. Instead, you're just giving money away. So I disagree with renting, unless you have a plan, you prepped it, and you're saving money on the side to buy something you really want.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Renting versus owning, you kind of just got to know your life, and that's going to go into step one. But let's kind of explain a real estate parcel, which is a piece of land, in terms of Miami. Okay. So imagine, Pike, you and I went to Miami before it was Miami and bought a parcel 1 acre lot land. Okay. There was no brickle. There was no 80-foot, 1,000-foot skyscrapers. Freaking what's the Miami Heat's arena?
Oracle Arena?
Bro, that's Golden State.
Shit.
What is it? Is it FX? No.
Oh, I thought. Okay, never mind. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know, but Hard Rock Stadium, right? Before Miami was Miami. Okay, let's say we bought that land for $10,000. Anywhere in Brickell, if there was nothing there and it was a parcel of land by itself with an acre of land,
a lot of money.
We might be able to get at least a couple million out of that.
Yeah.
Just because of the literal, money that can come from anything that they open up. Because obviously Miami's full of skyscrapers, so you build one unit 80,000 feet high, bankroll is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like it's kind of like your plan when you're starting off owning and buying your first house. But my stance on buying versus renting is understanding a 3 to 5 year plan, right? So if you're thinking about traveling a lot, moving, you don't know where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years, buying might not be the best option, and renting on either a month-to-month lease, a year lease, 6-month lease, whatever kind of lease might be better off. But it also goes with your life goals. So I lost my words. There's so much going on in my brain, guys. Real estate's kind of taking off right now, and just seeing some stuff that I've never seen. But understanding the 3 to 5 year plan, because buying and investing in your real estate and kind of taking not a step back from having, the best life, but investing into your real estate could really change your life. And I think Pike has seen that. And it's all about, people will say real estate's not about timing, but I think you have to kind of look at real estate as like a stock.
Yeah.
It's going to go up and down. It always does. Depends on your interest rates, what they're building in the area, what's going on, and the trends in your actual area that you're trying to buy in is going to depend on your appreciation or your depreciation of your property. So step 2 is not really a step, but owning a home is part of the American dream. Would you agree with that?
Everyone wants to own a home. It's hard to do in the economy. You got to watch what's going on.
And that's what I was getting at. Like, I feel like the American dream has kind of fallen away with the times that we're in.
100%. It's expensive.
But
it costs a lot of money to put forth to buy a home because it's up front.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of different kind of loans out there, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I feel like people have kind of forgotten about the American dream because of everything that's going on. And it's okay to buy a house with 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. It's just got to be the right people.
Correct.
You would agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think early on in my life, buying a house was the scariest moment, but I bought it at the right time, and it was probably the greatest idea I've ever had besides us starting this podcast. It wasn't my idea, but us.
Yeah.
I think that was it's probably a top 5 thing I've ever done in my life because it got me into real estate. Mm-hmm. And so what's the first step in getting approved for a loan or approved for a house?
Finding a bank that has decent interest rates.
That's a good one too, but getting pre-approved or pre-qualified. So pre-qualified and pre-approved sound like the same thing, but they're really not. Pre-qualification is just a simple estimate of what you can afford. It doesn't pull credit. It doesn't do this. It doesn't have any extra documentation that you need to do anything. And that's the problem I'm dealing with in one of my deals right now is they were approved for a lot more than what they actually were pre-approved for. So they pre-approved them for this amount, but really it was a pre-qualification. But the lender took it as a pre-approval when it should have been a pre-qualification.
So did they give you the wrong information on that? So we were using like fake numbers. So they got like pre-qualified for $300,000, and then they were basing what they were trying to buy off that $300,000.
Yeah, so they got pre-approved. Like, they legitimately got pre-approved, right? They looked at all the documentation. They did this and that. But they didn't go in depth in everything that he had, his debt-to-income ratio. Like, they should have known all that before they were done with the pre-approval process, because the amount of paperwork that it takes to get pre-approved is a lot more than pre-qualification. Pre-qualification is like little to none. I'm pretty sure you can probably go on Zillow and get pre-qualified for something.
Yeah, there's applications online you can do quick, and they'll be like, oh, you can afford this. But it obviously doesn't tie in your other bills that aren't, face value right in front of you.
Pretty much, if it doesn't do a hard pull on your credit, I wouldn't trust it. So
with this happening to whoever you have going on, whose fault was that?
That's the lender's fault.
The lender?
And the lender does that so they
get your business, basically?
Yeah, basically, because obviously lenders are just like real estate, right? So like if I come to you and ask for a house, some realtors might not be willing to work on, hey, I can't really afford to pay you 3% of the commission, but I could probably afford 2%. Some realtors be like, all right, well, I'm not doing business with you.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, we're here to support and help our buyers and or sellers. So that's kind of how I've, structured my business around is whoever I'm helping. Because at the end of the day, it is the American dream. So just like if you were working at a, spot, providing that customer service is what always brings them back. So if I'm not providing that customer service, who's that going to make me look like?
Right.
Like, we're all in it for
Selfish.
the money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I'm still making a good amount of money off 2%, even if it's not 3%. So that's kind of how I look at it.
So some realtors can be greedy.
Yeah, greedy, 100%.
Down.
And lenders as well. Lenders just get your foot in the door, and then once it comes to that point, it's kind of like, hey, this is what's going to make or break the deal. What they don't get is they don't get paid if the deal don't close.
Right.
So I've ran into a problem before like this with my own experience. I was buying my first house. Metroplex in Tampa. Sorry to call you out, buddy, but you guys told me I wasn't going to have to pay anything for my down payment. I got to the closing table. They said, hey, the cash to close is $1,500. Obviously, I wasn't prepared for that. And that was back in COVID. I was just a 19-year-old boy. Like, if I was told no cash to close, I'm not going to save for that.
100%.
And I couldn't have come up with the money even if I wanted to.
It's illegal. Is it legal for them not to give you that information?
I don't know. I'm not on that side of the.
Yeah.
I'm just a real estate guy.
Okay.
I know legal stuff.
Right.
As part of the contract and stuff like that, but not on the loan originating side. That's where they come in for expertise. But obviously, I'm always tied into the deal. But at this case, I was just the buyer. So I called my realtor, and then I called the bank because he, told me that I probably needed to call the bank. Called the bank, talked to the head manager. Hey, like, this is what's going on. Blah blah blah. Oh, we'll take care of it for you, and we'll take care of the person that said blah blah blah. Anyway, long story short, I did not have to pay anything, but it did not look good on Metroplex with the review I left on Google.
Okay.
1 out of 5, baby. I'm good with them Google reviews. Hey, I'll give you 5 stars. Just take like $6,000 off that car price.
Yeah.
Gonna switch out the peppermint for the wild berry. So, also with the pre-approval, you kind of need to know your own stuff before you get going, right? Do you have a stable income? Okay. Do you have an emergency savings? And what are the interest rates? And what do I always talk about, Pike?
Interest buy-down rates.
Interest buy-down rates. So the cool thing about interest buy-down rates that people don't understand, and I've been meaning to say this. I've been wanting to say this. This is like eating my brain alive. Okay? If you put the $20,000 that you are to put on a down payment, but you just put it into buy-down points, which most of the time is about $3,000 to $4,000 per point, which is an eighth of an interest rate. So some lenders cap you out at 0.5%, some cap you out at 1%. It's all based on the lenders. And obviously, I'm not from the lender side, but I've seen experiences, right? But even if you get 1% off of a loan that's like $300,000, the life of the loan, you're saving tens of thousands. I'm talking 50, 60, 70,000. So let's just say it's 50,000, okay? You put the 50,000 minus 20,000 that you put down as a down payment to lower your bill by 20,000. That's an extra 30,000 you already saved. And that's why getting a
I can't help you with this one.
expertized. A realtor that's an expert in multiple different. I fucked up.
Has expertise in these fields.
Expertise in different fields, right? That's where it comes into play. Sorry, I've been talking so fast, and having a realtor that has expertise in different fields that can kind of warn you about certain things like this could help you out by saving you a lot of money in the long run. Because the first part of your loan, like the first 10 years, I think it is, it's literally all interest.
Yeah, I see it on my side.
Yeah.
When actually you sold me this house, I got a good deal on it, so my monthly rate is lower because the lender that I went through paid down.
Yeah, they paid down the interest
down to mine's a 4%, and at the time it was sitting at 7% usually. So I got this one at 4%, but they added it to my loan. So at the end of it, I'll be spending the money, but up front it lowered my mortgage rate. Mortgage
exactly. So it's gonna save him, dude. 3% difference.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for a 30-year loan.
That's an insane amount of money. So obviously having your credit scores in check too, right? If you got a 600 credit score, I'm sorry, we probably shouldn't be doing business, all right? Like, we need to get that thing up to a 700.
You go rent.
Yeah, we need to understand why that credit score is 600, all right? We need to start getting better at paying stuff on time and or paying stuff in general, okay? And then cash to put down. Cash to put down we already talked about, right? It's okay to put a little bit of money down. You got your different types of loans, conventional, FHA, USDA, VA, cash, bridge loans, so many different types of loans out there. And each of them require a certain down payment to what you have to pay the mortgage down to for loan to value ratio, LTV. So even if you just put 3.5% down, but then you buy it, you spend the rest of that money that you were going to put down on the house and buy down the interest rates, it's going to save you way more money in the long run than you think, man. So, yeah. Am I doing all right so far?
Yeah.
You learned a little bit?
It down.
I'm trying to break it down, right? So it's kind of hard because there's so much to touch on in real estate, kind of trying to condense it down.
Branches off in wide amount. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this is where I get a little cocky. Not cocky, but you need to get a realtor, even if it's not me, right? You need to kind of just try to, if you know someone that knows him or her, try to get some information about him, right? So the realtor, I feel like, is one of the biggest parts in buying a house because if they're not aware of housing situations, new builds, constructions, knowledge on the housing market, putting in offers, knowing how to talk and negotiate, seeing red flags, if they can't protect you legally either, that's a problem. Market trends in the area and ADOM. What do you guys think that means? Average days on the market, right? All this stuff ties into the real estate market. And, we can kind of break it down, section by section. Housing situations, new builds, construction, right? So we all know where we live. You go 10 minutes down the road, they got, it's like downtown Miami out there.
It's getting there.
At night, dude, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But what was it like 2 years ago?
Empty.
There was literally
Cows,
nothing. There was a
farms.
Walmart. There was a Walmart. That was it. You drive down there now, you got.
We have an interstate running through the middle of it now.
Yeah. Literally, you can get to Tampa in an hour.
Yeah.
That doesn't expose our location. But you can get to Tampa in an hour. And just everything you need is just right there. They're still building. They have, a Five Below or a Ross or something?
Five Below, a Sprouts, building right there, and then probably a couple more that are adding into it. But
it's just all right there in that little location. And people don't understand that brings value into the area because now the little village that's over there, they're only going to have to drive 3 or 4 minutes to go get to every single amenity that they need. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know a whole lot about property taxes, but I'm pretty sure the more stuff that's in the area, more building that's happening, the property taxes get lower. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Have you seen your property taxes get lower or higher?
I haven't checked. I'll probably look into that.
If you look into it, did your mortgage payment get lower or higher?
Recently?
Yeah.
From last year to this year? I think it's about the same, honestly. But
okay. So usually, I feel like the trends that I see, a lot of construction going on, a lot of more things in the area, the property taxes go down a little bit.
To bring value into the county.
Yeah.
Keeping money here.
Right. And knowledge on the housing market, right? So if I was to sit here and tell Pike that the housing market is at about $200 a square foot, okay? But I didn't tell him that, but I knew that. And I sold him a house at $250 a square foot, but there's a house down the road that's priced at $200 a square foot, and it's a way better house. How would you feel about me being your realtor?
Be pretty pissed.
Yeah, because
you sold on me.
Do the math on the square footage.
Yeah, it's $50 a square foot on a 3,000 or say 1,800 square foot house.
It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
especially if you add that onto a loan with your 5.5 to 6% interest rate nowadays. So, and you didn't buy interest buy down rates.
They say they're going down right now.
No, they're going down. But it's still going to be.
Yeah, high fives.
It's going to be a while until we get down to where we want to be.
Back in 2020.
Yeah. So, how to negotiate offers. That's just having a personal relationship with a lot of realtors in the area and just knowing how to talk to them without coming across the wrong way. So, and not even just that, even if you don't talk to the other realtor, because most of the time you don't do that, unless you make a verbal offer or say, hey, like, we're really interested in the house, like, we're going to put in an offer, blah, blah, right? Get your name out there. Oh, that's Daniel Hamilton. I'll be waiting for his offer. It's all about how you put in the offer and the terms and how it looks on paper because, everything in real estate has to be on paper. Average days on market, right? So the average days on the market is 90.
So you base it off of the area, is I'm assuming?
Yeah. And there's a house that's been on the market for 270 days. That's not speaking good things. But then you see a house, like I just sold the house to someone, and it was on the market for 3 days. It was priced so well, and I still give the realtor props to it. He priced it literally perfect. The house appraised for $11,000 over what they were, listing it as. So it was a perfect price on the house, and you can tell that he's an experienced, realtor. Check going into step 5 now. So we need to check the important things, right? Neighborhoods. Do you think neighborhoods is important when buying a house?
100%. There's a lot of people looking for houses, and especially nowadays, they're not buying houses until they're basically established, have families, and make sure the area is good for that.
Yeah, and if Pike's looking for a house under certain circumstances, he's going to make sure that there's some good neighbors around because he doesn't want. I probably shouldn't say the address, but you don't want somewhere around a bad area where people can't excel and succeed in, right? And I think another thing is like you can't really make a decision off 1, 2, 3 houses, right? If you know it's right, then you know it's right. But I do always tell my buyers that we should look at multiple houses before we do it because just because this one has all these amenities, it's got a pool, it's got a carport, it's got all this, doesn't mean it's a better deal than the other thing that has just a pool because you can always build a carport. So
it's like buying a car. You know what I'm saying? You shop around a little bit. Go test drive. Even if it's what you think you want, just go test drive a couple more because you might find out you want something different. Same concept as a house.
I mean, I only did one.
Car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I looked at like 3 of them that day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went in and, they pulled up an SUV and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Literally a new guy came out.
But yeah, just shop it because you don't know. You might see something you didn't know you wanted until you're in it.
But I wasn't going to buy that car at that price. The fact that we got him down that much was
crazy.
kind of insane. Mm-hmm. Also, just like buying a car, right? Checking the resale value for both sides, right? So you want to make sure that you look at everything that's happened to the home in the last couple of years. So if the house was just bought last year, right? Say you bought it for $140,000. Now it's listed at $260,000 the next year. Probably an investor bought it. So now we kind of want to take a look when we're touring the home to see if it's priced right for the renovations that was done. Because now if the investor did everything right, the appreciation of the house isn't going to go up a crazy amount. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to go up a crazy amount. If anything, you're going to be looking at depreciation then. But if you buy a house that needs a little bit of work, your appreciation is going to go up a lot, especially if you do it the right way. So for living reasons, you gotta really take a look at that and kind of diagnose. Use your realtor, use your own mind. Take a look at all the houses on the market. evaluate taxes. If the trend is the taxes are going up $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $1,000 a month, or a year, that's a trend. But just understand that your payment's going to go up a lot each year. Not a lot each year, but it's going to keep going up. So that's one thing that the loan originators don't really look at either. So you don't want to put yourself in a bind after you close on the home and say you bought that house for top out appreciation. You might not be able to sell it for what you bought it for and or a little bit below. You might have to go lower. So now are you losing on the house? Are you going to be upside down? HOA fees and overall listing price of the home. We already talked about the overall listing price on the home, but HOAs, you just got to see what the HOAs bring into the table, really. And next one is inspection and appraisal. Okay. Yes, the inspection reports are very thorough. They're very dialed in. But are you looking at the house in an inspector's eyes, right? Because when I'm touring a home, I tell the buyers, go do whatever they want to do. I'm going to go look at the house myself. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm there to answer it 100% of the step of the way. But I'm looking at the house in the buyer's eyes. I'm being the good guy, not the bad guy. I'm not going to tell them a lie just because I want the house to sell, because that's unethical. I'm going to be the ethical guy. If I see something wrong with it, I'm going to go, hey, just put that on your notes. That's not good. Ensure the reports are accurate. Always know what kind of deal you are making. Conventional loans, cash, bridge loans. I don't know why I put that in there. A deal you want to make just in case for repairs. Oh, yeah, that's why I put that in there. All right. So you got to understand what kind of deal you're putting in. If you got cash, okay, you can't really expect the sellers to put in a lot of work, because most of the time when you're putting in a cash offer, it's going to be an as-is. Same thing with conventional loans, bridge loans, because you're using the equity off of your other house, and it's contingent upon selling your other house to buy that house. So a lot of the times, the sellers, when you put in a conventional loan, a cash offer, whatever, anything that's basically cash and you got to put a bigger down payment, you're going to put in as an as-is, and the seller's not going to accommodate because you're going to go at a lower price. You're not going to lowball them, but you're going to go a little bit lower. But the deal I just put in was an FHA loan, and these are the deals that you kind of put in, if you're looking at the house and you're like, well, this has some potential, but just in case for repairs. FHA, VA, USDA. Conventional loan, you can still do it. Just depends on what, the offer is at the end of the day. So you got to think about the seller side too. They're trying to make the most money they can off the house. So if they got to put $10,000 into the house, they might just wait on another offer for them to come down $5,000 and pay it in cash. So just little things like that. But after you get all that done, it's closing time. And closing time is the best time, because that's when you get handed the keys and you sign your life away in a good way, because that is the American dream. And that's where I am to take a picture with you.
Right up front.
Holding up the fours.
Fours?
Take a picture. Nice. So any questions for the realtor?
Questions for the realtor.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see so you explain how, the process they're going to have to go through and, little key points to, definitely not mess up on. So talking broadly, do you see, how far out are we looking at for the interest rates to actually fully drop? I know they say by the end of the year, low sixes, high 9 or 5s. When do you see it, coming back down? Early 2020, midway through 2020 with COVID and everything going on, interest rates were low, houses were low. You're getting great deals on big homes. When is it going to be back to that? Do you see that coming? Or with everything in the state of the world, is it going to? So before I get into that question, let me just say, if I did not explain anything right, okay, I have a lot going on right now, but that's no excuse. I'm also talking fast to try to get all this information in a podcast that is going to not be 14 hours long. Yeah, I'm sure, everything you said, I feel like you could have broke off in multiple ways, but obviously that's someone that's going to dive into, wanting to be a realtor and stuff. A lot of that stuff they don't need to know because they're not going to be involved in it buying a home, but if you want to be a realtor, you can message him on the side for that.
Yeah, 100%.
Mentor.
I would love to be a mentor because the brain knowledge. But yeah, just trying to, break it all down into as little words as possible is very hard, especially when we're talking about something so big in the world. Now, talking about interest rates. So we got to look at supply and demand, okay, where you're living, and the overall economy of the world. Okay, so we'll start off with the economy. Everybody's getting pay increases, okay? minimum wage is going up. This and that.
Agreed.
I feel like the housing market isn't going to go back to what COVID was. This is just a prediction.
It's understandable. I mean, obviously back in 1990, you could have bought a house for a lot cheaper. Yeah, it's not going to go back to...
Exactly. And anyone can pull up this information on, whatever county you live in. Every county has everything listed. So you can look up any address and literally go down to what it sold for, when it was built,
it's crazy.
The permits, all that. You can literally look at everything. And it's so good to do, especially if you're buying a home, to kind of just try to get an idea of the trends going forward. Too, and we touched on that earlier in the podcast.
What would be so
hang on,
simplify it.
Hang on, just let me cook. Let me cook.
You can cook. I just want to make sure they understand.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what would you consider? Because what I asked was, when is it going to be back lower? Obviously, it won't get to that point. What would you consider a booming market? When would that come? Like it was 2020 again, but this day and age. Okay, that's a bit easier. When will the people think it's a 2020 market again? Even if it is a 5%.
But I don't think you're looking at the overall picture. I think you're just looking at where we live, okay? If you go up, let's say you come to Florida, right, and you're looking at a 4.2, 4.3 in a beach town or a big city.
A lot of money.
You're going to be paying a lot of money. You go up to Georgia, literally look up the same exact house. You are paying so much less. But that goes with what's around. I mean, Georgia has Six Flags, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that.
They have Six Flags. I mean, it's more of like a rural area, rural
area, yeah.
Rural.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sounds weird, like the R's. Or it sounds like I'm barking. But it's not like a city vibe. I mean, Florida, if you live in the literal middle of it, you have
yeah.
You can go right, left, up, down, and there's a city somewhere in there that's always booming, and it's growing. Florida is growing at an astronomical rate. I mean, if you just go look at the villages, every single development down there, they have real estate agents that you can only sell in the villages because of the amount of homes that they're just putting out, and it's actually insane. And that can be good for the housing market, and it can also be bad. Because if you think your house is worth $500,000, but then this new construction is listed at $450,000 because that's what the builder is putting it up for, you're kind of screwed. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of just based on it depends on where you live, really. But in Florida, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. As far as the interest rates, I mean, that's nationwide. It's going to take a long time for it to climb back down, in my opinion. But once again, I don't really deal with that side a whole lot. In my opinion, it's going to climb down slow. It's going down, but it's all based on supply and demand. And I think places like Florida, it's just absolutely booming. Everyone wants to move here. I mean, we're like one of the best states to be known as snowbirds.
Yeah.
Like that's what we have here is just snowbirds. People buy a house, come down here for the winter, and then they go back up when it's summer because where they live is way better in the summer, obviously, than the winter. But yeah, that basically to sum it up, I think I don't really know if it's ever going to get back to COVID. I don't think houses are going to go down at a drastic rate. But once again, it all just depends on the construction and what these companies are putting it out for, in my opinion.
Okay. How much does it cost, if someone wanted to be a realtor that was watching this, how much is it going to cost to get prepped, test, ready, and licensed? And would you give them the advice to go get a mentor?
When I first started in real estate, I didn't think I needed a mentor, but you definitely need a mentor because there's more to the business than what you think, and it's not the sole fact of selling houses. It's more the fact of everything else that comes with it. Because, let's say we sell a $200,000 home, 3% commission. Let's just run some quick numbers on that because I don't know off the top of my head. Right, so that's going to be $6,000. Okay, I just got paid $6,000 to sell a house. Let's say I got both sides. That's $12,000. Okay, I just got $12,000 in my pocket. Ooh, I want to go buy all that. I want to go buy a car. And let's say I don't have a W-2 to help me fund my federal tax return at the end of the year because Florida doesn't have state income tax. And that would drop it even more. That's why California is a crazy state to live in for things like this. But I spent all my $12,000. Oh yeah, I mean I had a W-2 before this. I'm not gonna owe on taxes. Oh, dang! I made $60,000 And, self-employment, probably about 15%. I owe $9,000 in taxes, and I only have $1,000 in my savings. What am I going to do? Right? So that was things that was things that I overlooked when I became a realtor, was because the money just comes in and you're like, wow, that's a lot of money. And people might say, it doesn't make sense to make that much money. But you got to think of all the legal stuff that we're doing. We're having you sign a piece of paper that's a legal document that you are buying for the rest of your life. If we do anything wrong, we are held responsible legally for anything that was wrong with the contract, right? And if I mislead you in any way, I could get sued. So just little things like that. Your tax returns, just what you can write as tax write-offs. Like, if I didn't have my mentor, I wouldn't know half the stuff that I can get tax write-offs for. Anything used for my business can be a tax write-off, and I didn't know that because they don't teach us that in school. And we've talked about that before on the Dual Vibes Entertainment podcast. But obviously, even just the real estate side, it's great to have a mentor there, because when times get tough and you don't have, a sale, say your mentor is dealing with 10 transactions and 2 of them's just, not a little deal, but it's like, oh, I can have him do this. Bang. He gives you those 2 deals. He asks for a referral fee for 25%. You still make 75% off of that, but you're getting, accustomed to dealing with customers, and it's only going to look good on you if you do a great job at it.
Okay. So, yes, a mentor.
100%. 100%. But it has to be the right mentor.
Okay.
Right? I think I could be a mentor, but if you ever went with someone else that was, more experienced than me, I would not blame you, because I'm still learning, but I do know a lot. What was the other part of that question? It was mentor. You asked something else before it, though, and I kind of forgot.
I asked about the mentor. Would you push them to get a mentor?
The fees. The fees of real estate, it's not a lot to get your license, but after you get your license, you have to pay your association fees. So, and that's where it's like $1,500 to $2,000, depending on where you're at, right up front. And you can't start selling until you are licensed and hang your license up somewhere. So that's just something to look at, because I think altogether, fingerprint, your core, your 63-hour pre-licensing course, and your 45-hour post-licensing course, which your broker, whatever you choose, usually offers that, but some of them don't. It's $300-$400 to get it, but it's that fee up front after you get it where you're like, oh, I might have to put that on a credit card. And then if you don't sell anything, now you have credit card debt and you're not paying it.
But if you do make a sale, normally you're going to pay that off.
You'll pay it off.
Spend it, right?
Usually one sale, and you'll have to pay quarterly association fees. Once again, it might be different with other associations, but quarterly and then yearly association fees. And your yearly one's going to be a lot more. But you always got to think, if you sell at least one house, you paid your association dues for the year.
Okay.
That's what I would say, yeah. That does everything for the team.
That seems like it does.
It does everything.
So really, it seems like a good thing to start, a good thing to do. So my last question for you, because there's going to be people that watch it and not really know what they first steps should be. So a 19-year-old, do you have to be 21 to be a realtor?
No, you can be 18.
You can be 18? Okay,
yeah.
So 18, 19, out of high school, they hear all this stuff about realtor and stuff like that. Would you tell an 18, 19-year-old, hey, go get a job, full-time job, and then learn realty on the side? Or would you tell them, dive straight into it?
Depends on life goals. But we also got to look at where you're at, right? So in my area, I have a lot of booming real estate agents, okay? So I'm competing against a lot of people, and real estate has become a very hot topic the last couple of years because they see the amount of money they can make. But I feel like when you see the amount of money you can make, you lose the whole reason for the job, and I stated this at the beginning of the podcast. You're helping someone buy a home, achieving the American dream. You're helping someone sell their home, okay? If you're dealing with a 60-year-old elder and they've lived there for, say, since they were 20, they lived the American dream for 4 years, and they just want to downsize, they're putting their faith in you to sell their home and let them make the most amount of money that they invested in. So it goes more than just being a realtor and making money. You have to grow your business, because it is a business. You're an entrepreneur at this point. You have to understand you're putting people's trust in you. Or people are putting their trust in you to do what's best for them because they're not as knowledgeable as you are supposed to be. So I personally, the route that I took was have a full-time job and do it on the side, because that way I still have income. I'm still selling a couple houses here and there. And at the end of the day, I'm learning the business when I can. And that's the biggest thing, right? Whenever you start a job, you don't just go straight out there and start working. You're going to get trained. And I feel like that needs to be a step in everyone. And you got to be kind of vulnerable to letting someone guide you the whole way and not getting upset if you did something wrong and them telling you got to be constructive with it. Take constructive criticism well and be able to take it in and make it better. Now, next time I know I messed up on the contract, I'm not going to miss that part on the contract next time. Ooh, I missed it on this time. Okay, well now 2 times in a row I've missed something on the contract. It's all part of the learning process. And people have to boil down to you have to learn a skill in order to be great at it. But to go more off his question, even if you're not looking to be a real estate agent, you're looking to buy or rent a house because you want to go live on your own, you want to experience the American dream. I don't think renting or buying is bad either way. Once again, it goes based off your 3 to 5 year plan and what your life goals are. If you want to go travel, dude, and you're just renting something to keep your stuff there, that is completely fine. Because the AC goes out while you're traveling on a plane, you ain't got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to invest in this house that you're buying and you want to make it your own and you want to be a family man, then I would definitely recommend buying a house. Because it was the greatest decision of my life. And would you say it was yours?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was great. And if you buy it the right way, you can always sell it for what you bought for it and or, sell it for a little bit more. So that's what I got to say about it. Any more?
Good.
Wow.
Good question. I'm good.
Wow.
Good answers. Got some good knowledge.
So next podcast, we're going to find something that Pike's really good at, and we are going to let Pike take control of the podcast because I feel really bad for talking 80% of the time.
No, you're good.
So.
I mean, I couldn't give the knowledge you gave. I have experiences with it, but I don't have knowledge that they can use off of it besides, make sure you're renting a place you're living in, not just renting it for a place to go every now and then because that gets costly, I've done that. And just make sure, you make good decisions. And if you do sell a house and make a lot of money on it, make sure you use it wisely because you're going to need that at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on federal income taxes.
Yeah. So, that's it. But, no, it's all good. It was a good knowledge.
So what skill are you going to bring to the table next week?
I don't know yet. I'm going to have to ponder on it.
Yeah, no. I think I already got one that he could do, but we'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah, we can talk about that one off camera. I think what you're going to say.
Yeah, I already know.
Maybe it's something we'll talk about, but we'll see.
I just don't know if
it doesn't matter.
He's ready for that yet. But
we'll see.
Guys, appreciate you tuning in to Dual Vibes Podcast. I know this one wasn't very, funny, but I hope it was still entertaining. We
said value at the beginning of this year.
Yes, value.
And if you guys didn't find value in that, then you're just watching the wrong podcast.
Well, not that. You just clicked the wrong episode. I don't think you're ever watching the wrong podcast.
Oh, fact. That's true. You clicked the wrong episode, guys.
Yeah.
Go back and watch last week's when we talked about Dual Vibes Island and tell me you don't want to be part of that real estate. But
I think it was, and it kind of feeds off that too. This is kind of dope. I think that's why I thought of this. But yeah, it's just it's a big moment because you do cramp your hands signing all those paperworks, and it's as people would say, the biggest purchase that you're going to make in your life besides a car.
100%.
Because you're putting a lot of money.
Only 30 years worth of your
down.
Life signed.
And also, last thing. I could talk about this for hours. You don't have to get a 30-year mortgage, by the way.
Right.
They
it's
got,
just the most common. That's why I said 30 years.
They got 10 years. They got 15 years. They got 5-year loans. Just know the less years you get, the less interest you pay, but the more your principal is going to be. So, with that being said, real estate rewards preparation, not pressure. And I've had a lot of time to prepare for this conversation that I had with you guys today. And I never felt under pressure. I did a little bit. But I think I'm knowledgeable now to excel the pressure and really give you guys good advice into the real estate world. So with that being said, if you guys want to buy a house with Danny Hammy, come to me. Listen, guys, 2% interest rate or 2% commission rates, right? I want to help you succeed. I'm not really in it for the money. I'm all in it for building my platform, building my reputation, and really helping you buy and or sell your property at the right price. This is Danny.
This is Pike.
And this is Dual Vibes.